If you can't sleep on the side because your hip is hurting, well, this video is for you. Most of the time, that hip pain is not the hip joint, and where the pain lies will tell me more than your MRI. Let me explain. There are 3 common areas for hip pain, and each one tells a different story. Zone 1, that's deep in the groin, in the crease, that's your actual ball and socket joint. That's your hip arthritis or impingement. Zone 2, that's on the outside, the lateral side, the place where you sleep on. It's also one of the most common area for hip pain, but has nothing to do with the hip joint. It's actually most commonly your gluteal tendons, where the gluteus muscles attaches. It is also one of the most commonly misdiagnosed. Zone 3, that's in the back, and now we're talking about your back. It's either radiating from your spine from nerve compression or your hamstrings if it's where you're sitting on. Now let's talk about outer hip pain or lateral hip pain. Odds are somebody told you you've got trochanteric bursitis, but that's not entirely accurate. It's a misnomer. Researchers have done studies where they put on ultrasound probes over areas for patients with lateral hip pain. What they found was only a handful of them have enlarged bursa. Over and over again, the real culprit are the tendons themselves. Gluteus minimus and gluteus medius tendon attaches to these bony areas and then worn down where they attach. The real culprit are the tendons, so the new name is called greater trochanteric pain syndrome, and the actual diagnosis, gluteus tendinopathy. It's not an inflammatory problem, it's a degenerative tendon problem. And that's a very important distinction because it means anti-inflammatory shots is going towards targets that doesn't really exist. This condition affects women more, roughly 4 times more than men, and usually in between 40 to 60 years old. In a population study studying over 3,000 adults, 15% of the women have this condition. And here's the mechanical part of it. It's not really an overload issue. These tendons get compressed against the bone. So when you're crossing your legs, when you're sleeping on it, or if you're standing, you're kind of leaning over to one side, you're compressing that tendon. Even some of the exercises that help you loosen up these muscles or tendons are actually causing more compression, increasing your pain. So what actually works? This is where we got a genuinely good study to point to. There's a study called LEAP trial where they take 200 people with gluteal tendinopathy and split them 3 ways. One group receives the standard cortisone shots, an anti-inflammatory shot into the area of pain. Group 2 have a wait-and-see approach. And Group 3 gets an education plus strengthening program where they learn about positions to avoid squeezing the tendon against the bone, and then a progressive strengthening exercise program. By 8 weeks, the education and exercise group were already winning. 77% of the people in this group received meaningful improvement versus about 58% in the cortisone group. And here's what matters more. They followed these people for about a year, so at 12 months mark, that difference is still there. The education and exercise group, 79% of them had meaningful improvement versus still 58% in the standard cortisone group. Now look at the shot group on their own. It's not that it didn't work. These patients still have some relief, but that relief quickly faded away, and by 12 months mark, they were behind the rehab group. So you paid for the fast start, but you lost a long game. So here's the foundation from the education and exercise group. First thing, stop compressing the tendon. Don't sleep on the side that hurts. And when you sleep on the other side, put a pillow in between so the top leg doesn't drop across the body. You want to stop standing, hanging off on one hip, or stop the cross-body stretches that sounds like they should be helping. Second, you want to load the tendon, not rest it. Tendon growth depends on progressive strengthening, so you want to start gentle and start building. I'll show you in a different video some of the exercises that are helpful for hip pain. And remember, it takes time, not days. It takes weeks and months for the tissues to actually heal, and it's the only thing that does that without just quieting things down. Now, some people do the load modification, progressive loading. They give it time. That is a situation where I'd say it's worth talking about orthobiologics like PRP or platelet-rich plasma. In a similar study, an RCT split 80 patients with gluteal tendinopathy into 2 groups. Cortisone group, the anti-inflammatory shots, and the PRP group. And they compared them across different times for about 2 years. At 2 to 6 weeks, there's not much difference between the two. They were both somewhat effective for pain and function. But by 12 weeks, we're starting to see the PRP group start to pull ahead. And once you get to a year and 2 years, the effect of the PRP group stays, whereas the effect for the cortisone group starts to fade around 15 months. And I want to be straight with you about the level of evidence. It is a good study. It's well run, but there's not a lot of patients in it. And there's also not a giant amount of data behind PRP yet. That's why it's not the first thing we try. It's the thing you earn after a good amount of rehab if you're part of the group that needs it more. And on the technical side, this study uses ultrasound-guided injections to make sure the good stuff is injected into the area that needs it. It's different from a landmark-guided, or we also call blind injection, that can make a difference in outcome. Quick word on the other two zones. Zone 1, remember, it's the pain in your groin, in the crease, deep in the front. When you're twisting, when you're walking, that's probably your ball and socket, your hip joint. And oftentimes that's hip arthritis, and that deserves a whole different video on its own. Hip arthritis, half the patients with severe stages end up having joint replacement. But for those in earlier stages, if they receive the right first-line treatments, you might be able to delay that surgery for a long time. So wait for that video to come out. Now for zone 3, it could either be a radiating back pain called sciatica, or it could be a hamstring problem if it hurts at the sitting bone. So here's the whole thing in one line. If your hip pain is on the side, it's not your hip joint, it's also not the bursa, it's a tendon issue. You want to fix the load first. And the fastest injections is rarely the best one. If your pain is in the back and it's running down your leg, watch this one next.